Example 3 is interesting because we will not use the calculator to find the limit. However, we will use a graph to find the limit. So here's the idea behind this problem. It says to find the limit as x approaches 3 minus first of all. So what does it mean to say 3 minus? Literally 3 minus means pick a number that's slightly less than 3. So you should not be thinking about 2 and 1 and 0. Those are really far from 3. They're really far away. In terms of limits, when I say 3 minus, you should be thinking in your head the number is maybe 2.8975, or maybe you should be thinking 2.9974, or maybe you should think 2.9998, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of these numbers, right? So that's what a 3 minus looks like. So in other terms, I'm going to stand where 3 is, but slightly off to the left of 3. So that's where 3 minus would be. And the question is, how high is the curve about there? Like how big or how high is this red line? If I was to read off to the left, how high is that dot? Well, roughly speaking, it's a 4. I know it's a little bit less than 4, but I'm just going to round it and say 4. So that's the end of the first part of the problem. Now what about 3 plus? So this time it says 3 plus. So again, what does 3 plus mean? So when I say 3 plus, what am I talking about? I'm talking about 3.0001 or 3.0125 or 3.00314. So things like that. There are a lot of these again. But the important thing is that they are all slightly less than 3. So if I pick one of them, how high is my curve going to be? Where's the red line at? Again, roughly speaking, it's a 4. So notice that in this problem, these two numbers were both equal again. So the left limit and the right limit were equal. So that's great. So now the question is, what's the limit as x approaches 3? So remember, when I say 3, I'm not talking about direction left or right. I'm saying both directions. So come from the left, come from the right. What do you see? And there is no answer unless the two limits from the left and from the right match. So in this case, they do match. So we say that the answer is going to be 4. So that means even though there's a little gap right there at 3, the bridge, if I'm traveling from the left or I'm traveling from the right, will get me to the same spot. And that spot is roughly speaking right away in front of 4. Now that small circle tells me that at 3 itself, there's actually no solution. So when I say what's f of 3, that literally means tell me what the y-coordinate is when x is itself equal to 3. At 3 itself, we have an open circle, meaning there is no graph there. So there is no solution, so we write dne. This is a perfect example of how a function could have a limit but not exist at a point. Right? But if it were to exist, it would make sense for the function to be right there in that middle spot where the y-coordinate is equal to 4. That's what this result is basically showing us.